Alrighty, everyone, we're gonna get started. Hope you're all doing well this fine evening. So we're gonna start off with the adoption of the agenda, which is motion one. Oh yes, remember to fill out attendance, very important. So yeah, please do that if you haven't already. All right, so moving on to motion one. Whereas an agenda was made and whereas we need to approve it, be it resolved that council approve the agenda of the council meeting of Thursday, November 26th, 2020, as seen on the Engineering Society website, moved by Thomas by 2020, right? Seconded by Zaid, see and ever, Kasim. Do we have an opening?
Thomas Wright, Director of Governance, no.
Do we have any discussion on the motion? Another reminder, remember that Thomas has sent the speakers queue. Everyone, it's in the newsletter. Yeah, just a general statement. Okay, seeing no discussion, do we have a closing?
No.
Awesome. All right, so be it resolved that council approve the agenda of the council meeting of Thursday, November 26th, 2020, as seen on the Engineering Society website. Moved by Thomas by 2020, right? Seconded by Zaid, see and never, Kasim. You may now vote.
Motion passes.
Motion passes. All right, moving on to motion two. Whereas it's been some amount of time since the last council, and whereas Leah wrote the minutes and they need to be approved, be it resolved that council approve the minutes of the council meeting of Thursday, November 5th, 2020, as seen on the Engineering Society website. Moved by Thomas. It's been a while, right? Seconded by Alir. How have you been? Basija, do we have an opening?
No.
No opening. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Seeing none in the speakers queue, do we have a closing?
Nope.
All right. Be it resolved that council approve the minutes of the council meeting of Thursday, November 5th, 2020, as seen on the Engineering Society website. Moved by Thomas. It's been a while, right? Seconded by Alir. How have you been? Basija, you may now vote.
Motion passes.
Motion passes. Nice. Slick. Okay, well, we're now on to the speaker's business, which is my business. So yeah, hope you're all doing well. Week 11. Wow, it's crazy how quick it's gone. It's really snuck up on me personally. So I hope everyone is taking care of themselves. And I hope everyone is, getting ready for ramping up of exam season. I know exam season is a little different this year. Well, very different this year for all of us. So please take time to take care of yourselves during the next month or so. And also, take some breaks. Don't stress out. Grades don't define who you are. All that fun stuff. But yeah, that's all from me, folks. So we'll now move on to new business, starting off with motion 3. So, whereas the Agnes Benedictson Tricolor Award recipients must be chosen by a committee, and whereas EngSoc needs to elect a voting member of council to serve on the selection committee, be it resolved that council elect blank to sit on the Agnes Benedictson Tricolor Award selection committee. Moved by Spencer, Mimi, Lee, seconded by Julia, Miney, Mo, Newcomb. Do we have an opening? President Lee.
Yes. Spencer Lee, President. I actually want to change something in this motion. It was pointed out to me that it doesn't have to be a voting member of council. It could be any member of council. So I'd like to change that.
Okay, sounds good.
And then I also have an actual opening, but
yeah, go for it.
Okay. Okay, so we need to elect a single member to sit on this committee. EngSoc's allowed to have one representative sit on it. In case anyone didn't know, the Agnes Benediction Tricolor Award, I'm just reading this honestly, is the highest tribute that can be paid to a Queen's University student for service, leadership, and character. So it's a very prestigious award, and this what we're electing right now is somebody to sit on that committee that chooses who to award those awards to. Just so you know what this kind of requires, basically the weekend of February 6th, 7th, you'll be needed to kind of go through all of the nominations and basically filter through them all and discuss with the other panelists who are other representatives from the other societies about who is deserving of this award. Traditionally, meals are like provided during this session. Of course, things are online, but the rector has informed me that like they're exploring other ways to compensate the members. So maybe like meal vouchers or Uber Eats, or I'm not sure. But you will also have some form of compensation for it as well. So that's basically a summary of it. If you have any other questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Spencer. Before we get into the nominating of people, do we have any questions for the mover or seconder? I see none in the speakers queue. So with that, we can now move on to nominations. So go ahead if you put in your name in the speakers queue if you would like to nominate somebody. And remember, this can be any member, so doesn't have to be a voting member. Director Wright.
Thomas Wright, Director of Governance. I nominate Andrew Vassila.
Do we have a seconder?
Komal Mekrep, I second.
Awesome. Do you accept?
I respectfully decline, though I do recommend that people seriously consider this opportunity. I'm largely declining because I have done this before, and I think it would be a great opportunity for others to not only understand the impact that several students have had on our student body, but to connect with these other faculties and kind of be able to take some of those lessons and experiences back to EngSoc.
Awesome. So I'm just looking at the speakers queue right now. Is the speakers queue like just a blank white page for everyone right now, or is that just me?
Point of information, Thomas Wright, Director of Governance. If you scroll down far enough, you'll get back to it.
Oh, that's good. Okay, that was good to know. Senator Matthews.
Peter Matthews, Senior Senator. I nominate Jeremy Nguyen.
Do we have a seconder? Seconder? Cool. Jeremy, do you accept?
Sure.
Awesome. Cool. Chairman Vassila.
I nominate Director Newcomb and President Takamoto.
Do we have seconders?
Second.
Cool. Do either of those nominees accept?
Julia Newcomb, Director of Social Issues. I will accept. Can I accept since I'm seconding the motion? Sure.
Yeah, you can. Just because it's any member, so. President Takimoto, do you also accept?
I'm now realizing she's not in the meeting.
All right, I'll take that. Okay, well, we'll take that as a no then. Okay, so seeing no more nominations in the speaker queue, we have our two candidates, Jeremy and Julia. So I will now entertain questions for the nominees, candidates. And we can start off with if the mover I guess in this case the mover, if you have a question for the two candidates.
Sorry, Zaid, can I say something before?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Could I retract my thing? Because I think Julia would be better than me and I don't want to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay. In that case, then we have one candidate. So if people would like to ask that candidate, who is Julia, any questions, then go for it. President Lee, if you have any beginning questions, we have time for like two.
Sure. Spencer Lee, President. The Agnes Benediction Tricolor Award Selection Committee is made up of representatives from all of the different faculties, and as such, you'll be working with people that have very differing backgrounds in education. How do you work with a team that has very different opinions on how to approach a problem?
So my answer would be to just respect everyone's opinion and try to understand where they're coming from, and then also try and represent the views and values of the engineering society to the rest of the committee.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Do we have any more questions? Andrew Vasila?
Thanks, Abe. Thanks, Abe. Board Chair Andrew Vasila. My question would be, this award carries a lot of weight and takes into account the accomplishments of students from different faculties and different years of their degrees. How would you comparatively assess these accomplishments to determine who you believe would be the best suited for the award?
So in my mind, it doesn't really matter where a student is in terms of faculty or what year. It's really about who's most deserving of the award.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Andrew Vasila, do you have another question?
No, Thomas just pointed out that I don't know how to spell.
Oh, okay. In that case, then that is all the questions we will take. So in that case, Julia, if you could, I don't know, like mute yourself or turn off your video or like leave the room or something while we vote, that'd be fantastic. I'll give you like 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, everyone can vote. Put a Y or an N under the candidate's name. Vote of confidence. So. Okay, cool. Okay, well then Julia has been nominated. Julia, if you're still here, cool, you're nominated. Okay, so be it resolved that council elect Julia Newcomb to sit on the Agnes Benedictson Tricolor Award Selection Committee, moved by Spencer Eeny Meeny Lee, seconded by Julia Miney Mo Newcomb. Awesome. So next we'll move. Oh yes, right.
Yeah, motion
Everyone still has
passes.
to vote on the motion. Okay, cool. Motion passes. Nice. So moving on then to motion 4. Whereas the Engineering Society general election is coming up next month, and whereas council needs to approve the nomination and campaigning rules before they can be released, and whereas operating this year's general election at a very different time than the AMS general election also requires council approval, be it resolved that council approve the rules of the nomination and campaigning for the 2021 Engineering Society general election as seen in Appendix Eng Elections _2. Moved by Thomas, get ready to vote, right. Seconded by Zaid, it won't take a week to count the ballots. Kasim. Do we have an opening?
Yes, Thomas Wright, Director of Governance. Hello, everybody. It's that time of year. Now is the time to vote on the election rules for next year's general election. I didn't feel the need to present this as a presentation, especially since we got it out in advance. So I'll just comb through any important stuff right now. First of all, you notice one would notice that we just added a clause under the CRO position, specifically stating, like as it does in policy, that they can take on the chief executive or deputy returning officer roles should one of those members be unable to fulfill their duties during the election period. Other than that, we just changed the dates as usual. As mentioned in the motion, council approval is required if EngSoc is to run their election at a different time than that of the AMS executive. We decided to do this year because they are running their election into early February, which we as elections team figured was too late to get executive elected and have them hire directors, etc. I'll give everyone a little more time just to comb through this again, but we added a couple of clauses to ensure that no candidate's campaign would be in violation of any public health guidelines, whether those are the guidelines of the city of Kingston or wherever the candidate is currently residing. Nomination budgets have stayed the same. as was shown in my budget, which everyone approved earlier this year. Again, other than the fact that we're not allowing physical campaigning materials, none of the campaign rules have particularly changed or are particularly outrageous. Although we made changes to the rules in light of COVID-19, we made sure to keep things as broad as possible and say keep certain clauses that may not be applicable this year, such as item 4.12 about the TV in the EngSoc lounge. We just figured, it's better to just keep that for next year rather than take it out and have someone say forget it once things get back to normal. And again, debates are going to run as expected, just in an online setting. I think that is it for me. Here's some more campaign material stuff. So I will close my time here on the speaking floor and open it up to any questions anyone might have.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah, do we have any questions in the speakers? Yeah, we do. Director Newcomb. Director Newcomb? You might be muted. Okay. Well,
I'm sorry, Zayda. I'm in a different meeting right now and wasn't paying attention.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Go for it.
Is there an issue?
Oh, no. Didn't you asked a question?
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Where did I ask a question?
Oh, it says here that you did, but that's okay. Okay, well, we move on to the next person, who's Senator Matthews.
I was just confused in the motion about why we have to have our general election at a different time from the AMS general election this year.
Direct response. Thomas Wright, Director of Governance. I was in contact with the AMS's Chief Electoral Officer a month back or so, and she informed me that the AMS was planning on having their general election voting days on like February 9th and 10th, I think it was. And I figured that this would be too late to elect our executive because they have to hire directors and transition into their portfolios. Late January is usually when the Engineering Society has their voting days and candidates are decided. This does mean that we have to push the beginning of the nomination period to a little before classes actually start. But I ran this by elections team. They were in agreement. And we figured that since everything's going to be online anyways, that wouldn't throw too much of a wrench into anyone's nomination process.
Awesome. Thanks very much for the question and answer. Next, we have President Takamoto.
Yeah, just a question. The way the rules are phrased right now, so I don't remember which line it was specifically, but it basically says that candidates are not allowed to use the golden words, "This is for real," section of the newspaper to advertise their campaign. That doesn't really account for the fact that they're now using a social media account. And I believe they use their Instagram fairly often. Do you have any intention of preventing candidates from using the Golden Words Instagram account to advertise their campaign?
Thomas Wright, direct response. This has been like a pretty static rule in previous years. I'll just scroll up to, I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure where it was. Oh, there it is, 4.8. Yes. So this is just referencing a very specific section of Golden Words when they have their published content. The "This is for real" section is used specifically for information pertaining to other goings on in EngSoc. So that didn't necessarily stop candidates from, say, buying advertising space in Golden Words in the past, should they see fit. So with that being said, I don't personally think it's necessary to be more specific in that clause.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Next, we have Alex Galvin.
Hey, first year representative, Alex Galvin. I'm just looking over the section on social media right now, and it seems like the current phrasing doesn't actually make a distinction between the post based on who's actually posting it. So, like on Instagram, the personal account section, the current phrasing is a bit unclear as to whether or not it's permitted for content to be posted on personal accounts if it's not your personal account. So that'd be like if one of your friends decides to put up a poster for you. Should this perhaps be amended so that it specifies?
Direct response, Thomas Wright, Director of Governance. I think I'm picking up on what you're saying. So just to be clear, Representative Galvin is saying that this clause doesn't necessarily create the distinction between a candidate's personal account and, say, their friend's personal account. Is that correct?
Yes, that'd be about correct. So if you wanted to have something for your friends to put on their stories to promote you.
Okay, I am in favor of amending that. For example, to say all stories on a candidate's personal account.
I would just say on
purposes.
any personal accounts, like just to generalize.
Yeah. Point of information, I suppose. I mean, I'm also a seconder. I actually is this 6.5.2.1 that we're talking about?
Yes.
Honestly, I'm in favor of keeping it the same, and the reason for that is because I think that no matter what, if it's on a personal account, I think it should still be approved by the CRO or the CEO, regardless if it's a friend's or your own. I know that happened last year and it worked well, and that's what it's always been. I mean, I don't see the point in making the amendment because I think it just means the same thing. So
yeah, I agree.
That's just my two piece. Yeah, it's up to you, Thomas.
Yeah, come to think of it, I do agree with that. I think keeping things more general is appropriate. But
grammatically, it reads fine.
If the member is still interested in making an amendment, then we move into debate on the amendment.
Yep, we can move into debate. If people have questions or want to debate the amendment, if you could write your name in the second, third time row in the speakers queue for motion 4, that'd be helpful for me, just so I know who's wanting to debate the amendment and has questions for Thomas. Okay, I see no debate on the amendment, so we can move on and vote for the amendment.
Point of information, I just realized I have to make a new poll for this.
While you do that, Senator Matthews actually has a question or a debate for the amendment.
Peter Matthews, Senior Senator. Sorry, can we get clarification again on what the amendment is that we're actually voting for here?
Yes, Thomas, or point of information. Actually, I should pass this off to Representative Galvin since he is making the amendment.
So if I were to amend this, the way I would do that is just at the very bottom of the social media section. Or actually, what I would do is I would put it right after 6.5, use of social media platforms not listed against campaign rules. I would just add a new 6.6, which is candidates shall not create content to be posted on social media pages not controlled by them in promotion of their candidacy.
Andrew Vasla.
Andrew Vasla, Advisory Board Chair. I think that the point in question is more than valid, but I think that what's important to mention here is that the way the wording is structured is just saying that all posts and stories on a personal account, that's not saying that the candidate alone, it's their personal account, but on any personal account has to be approved. So whether you create something for someone else, if it's ever to be posted on an account, it would be deemed campaign material, which is what I believe Speaker Chasm and Director Wright were pointing out. So while I think that the spirit of the point is more than valid, I think it's somewhat redundant with the language being generalized as it has been right now.
Awesome, thank you. Director Wright.
Thomas Wright, Director of... Actually, Thomas Wright, Director of Governance. Does anyone else have anything to say?
Alex Galvin.
Okay, I yield.
So I actually agree in large part with what you said. The text as written does technically evaluate to the same thing, but I feel like it's I feel like when I asked if it was currently whether or not it was currently prohibited by the regulation, it's just because I was confused, and if that could happen to me, it could happen to anyone else reading this and perhaps deciding how they are going to campaign for a position in the future. So yes, they do evaluate to the same thing, but I think it's a good thing to add in just so that we know that everyone who is running for a position knows what the rules are, and it just eliminates that potential for confusion. I yield my time.
Point of information, there is an all candidates meeting when people do want to run, and we do go over the rules quite in depth to go over these little discrepancies in rules, just as a general statement. Senator Matthews.
Peter Matthews, Senior Senator. So the rules, as they currently stand, essentially prevent people from sharing campaign posts on their personal stories. Like if some random engineering student wants to support their friend who's running for president or whatever, they can't share on their personal Instagram story like a campaign post to support them. I'm just wondering, how would we even enforce that? Like, are we going to be in the business now of policing every engineering student's Instagram stories?
Actually, point of information. Thomas Wright, Director of Governance. Sorry for the wait there. It's just since I'm not a mover of the amendment, I can't direct response it. So I personally would, like in the spirit of the rules, I would argue that sharing a post on a candidate's personal account, or not personal account, sorry. Sharing a post from a candidate's campaign account that has been approved by the elections team is already classified as an approved post. So I don't think it would apply there.
All right, that's all of the discussion I'm going to take for this amendment. So let's move on to the vote for this amendment.
Point of information, can you again clarify what the amendment is?
Alice Calvin, first year rep. I'm still a little bit uncertain on the form, but I do think this is an appropriate direct response. It would just be to add a new point 6.6 saying that the creation of unauthorized material for the posting on other people's social media by any candidate is prohibited.
There's a few more to get in. Looks like the amendment passes.
All right, amendment passes. So now we'll move on. So Director Wright will make that amendment. Do we have any more? We do have more questions. President Lee. Yes.
Thomas Wright, Director of Governance. I'm going to go ahead and add this amendment if Word will let me. I would just like the member who proposed the amendment to make sure that I am writing it correctly.
Would you like me to just message the text to you?
Yeah, please.
Awesome. Thank you very much. President Lee, you have a question.
Yep, Spencer Lee, President. Less of a question, more of, I guess, a point of information to alert the room. I'm not quite sure of the format of this, but kind of on the topic of like golden words and stuff like that. All like the EngSoc accounts during nomination period and during like past nomination period they remain non-partisan. So it's not like if you have a like a friend that is like a head manager of one of those services, that they will like post for that service. So all like the EngSoc affiliated accounts are supposed to be nonpartisan. I'm not sure if that's in it, but that's I think the general. I don't even know like process that we follow.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, that's all the questions I'm going to take for this motion. So do we have a closing?
Thomas Wright, Director of Governance. No. Actually, yes, thank you for the amendment. I'm glad that council approved it.
Alrighty. Okay, so be it resolved that council approve the rules of nomination and campaigning for the 2021 Engineering Society general election as seen in Appendix Eng Elections _2. Moved by Thomas, get ready to vote. Right, seconded by Zaid. It won't take a week to count the ballots. Kasim, you may now vote now. You may now vote. There we go. You may now vote now. Hee. Silly me.
Motion passes.
Lovely. Okay, moving on to motion 5. Whereas it has been some time since policy regarding proper documentation of conflict of interest declarations has been in place, and whereas proper documentation for the purpose of ERB hiring grievances and general human resources is required, be it resolved that council approve the changes made to policy section. Keep forgetting, what's that? Is that a gamma? Gamma B, as seen in Appendix Scribble. Moved by Craig, K-Town, crackdown on jotting it down, Maslin. Seconded by Alex, renowned countdown to jot down, no letdown, Coach Fitzialis. Do we have an opening?
Yes, Craig Maslin, Director of Human Resources. So this policy change is essentially just putting in place some framework for declaring conflict of interest during interviews. So in the past, there was a form. It was an Excel sheet that you filled out with zeros, ones, and twos, declaring your conflict of interest. And at the recommendation of the previous Director of Human Resources, as well as through my own experience this year, I've seen a lot of complaints with the extra paperwork, and the policy has not been in place for some time now. So we agreed that it should be centralized to the interview notes. So basically, the policy just says that at the all conflict of interest must be stated in writing at the top of the applicant's interview notes by the panelist who holds the conflict, and it gives some examples for valid declarations. And as well, the HR portfolio has a bit of an initiative plan just to spread this word amongst hiring panels, as well as implement it in the new hiring training.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions? Give her like 5 seconds. Okay. Seeing none, do we have a closing?
No.
Lovely. Be it resolved that council approve the changes made to policy section Gamma B as seen in Appendix Scribble. Moved by Craig, K-Town crackdown on jotting it down, Maslin. Seconded by Alex, renowned countdown to jot down, no letdown, Coach Fitzialis. You may now vote. It's a tongue twister.
Motion passes.
Amazing. All right, so moving on to motion 6, whereas the human resources officer positions should be generalized to allow greater teamwork amongst the officers in future years, and whereas this needs to be updated in policy, be it resolved that council approve the changes made to policy section Gamma B and Beta C as seen in Appendix My Name is Huh? Moved by Craig. Can I get the attention of the class? Maslin. Seconded by Alex. For 1 second, my name is My name is Slim Shady. Oh, yes, I get it. Coach Vitzialis, do we have an opening?
Yes, Craig Moslin, Director of Human Resources. This is a pretty simple name change in policy. Currently, the HR officers fall under recruitment, training, or feedback, and I get that at the recommendation of my upper and my own experience. I think it should be centralized to one general HR officer to allow for more collaboration.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Do we have any discussion on the motion? I'll give her another 5 seconds. All right, seeing none. Director Maslin, do you have a closing?
No.
Lovely. Be it resolved that council approve the changes made to policy section beta C, gamma B and beta C as seen in appendix. My name is moved by Craig Maslin, seconded by Alex Bush-Vitzialis. You may now vote.
Motion passes.
Awesome. So we'll go on to the last motion, which is whereas service managers were unable to fulfill their job duties due to COVID-19, and whereas some services didn't even operate at all. Be it resolved that council approve the changes to policy gamma B.3.1.B as seen in appendix back to back, moved by Andrew, Boycott de Cafe, Kernerman, seconded by Ben, Money, Zerikny. Do we have an opening?
Yes, Andrew, Director of Services. So this policy is basically just a change so that a lot of the services, because of COVID, at all. So in these circumstances, like given an opportunity to reapply, obviously going through the same process that any other person would go through, like any other application. But currently, as it stands, if you apply, you cannot reapply as a committee or anything like that. So basically, just for situations like COVID or other extenuating circumstances, making it so that they do have the option to reapply.
Awesome. Do we have any discussion on the motion? All right, seeing none. Do we have a closing?
No.
All righty. Be it resolved that council approve the changes to policy gamma B.3.1.B as seen in appendix back to back, moved by Andrew Kernerman, seconded by Ben Zerikny. You may now vote.
Motion passes.
Amazing. Cool. So that wraps up new business for tonight. So now we'll move on to the executive reports, starting off with the president.
Spencer Lee, president. So, oh my gosh, I just lost that. Sorry if I got it. So last couple of weeks, a week done FC hiring, which is exciting. They presented to advisory board, both about a summary about their past year, and also their plans moving forward. SciFormal, we established a new format for that, to reduce like the workload and burnout of the volunteers for that position, and also make it easier while still being a special occasion for the graduating class. AMS assembly, I think the last time we had council, okay, we either had AMS assembly, but AMS assembly is also next week. For the faculty, I attended the faculty board, and also met with the dean with the other executives. For the and also another thing with the faculties, we're planning a December 6th memorial. And I wanted to shout out to Julia because she is heading that, and that has grown to be quite big. So that's exciting. For the rest of the semester, AMS, we have assembly and the corporate special general meeting. December 6th is the ceremony is being held on December 3rd. Kind of confusing, but just so that it like lines up with the faculty's like work days. And then in exam period, we've already told a lot of our directors and a lot of our teams to definitely prioritize their academics. So if you're trying to get an email or a response, things might be just a bit slower because we are just students, so we are prioritizing our academics and our exam studying at that time. So with that, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on then to the Vice President of Operations.
Ben Zurichny, Vice President of Operations. So the last 2 weeks, it was a pretty regular 2 weeks for me. Mostly just a lot of meetings and regular tasks like payments, e-transfers, mail, that sort of stuff. I did start on the review engagement with Salma. I'm not sure if we explained it last time, but it's like an audit, but less intense. Basically to make sure we're doing everything fine. Then I also organized signing over our investments that the Engineering Society has, so that the current executive owns them and not the exec from, I think it's from 2 years ago at the moment. And then Spencer and I had a meeting with the AMS to sign the MOU, and I've also talked to them about student fees and how to get that. And then over the next 2 weeks, Salma and I will still be working on the review engagement. Also, it's not just last year, it's more than 1 year of review engagement, so it's really tedious. I'll be hiring Science Quest assistant directors with Andrew. And then over the winter break, I'm going to take a look at evaluating our services financial, working with business managers and advisory board to get that set up. And yeah, starting my transition manual and studying for exams.
Cool.
That's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on then to the Vice President of Student Affairs.
Alex Kosh-Vasialis, Vice President of Student Affairs. Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a good week 11. Almost said week 12. But things I've been doing in the last few weeks. So we had our Gender and Eng speaker event, and that went really well. And it can be stressful sometimes planning certain things, but we're really happy that it worked out and we reached some students that might want to hear from, speakers about gender discrimination and things like that. So that was really great. So a huge shout out to the team for that. It was very well executed, and thanks to Dr. Day for attending. Next, I attended the Sustainable Action Fund Committee meeting, which is within the AMS, and every AMS member through assembly has to sit on it. So sat on it, pretty good stuff. We gave out some bursaries to some people that are doing pretty great things on campus. So that was good. We had a first year exec meeting. That was really fun. And I'm planning on rolling out year exec roundtables and discipline club roundtables soon. So first year exec will be invited, which is very exciting. Attended advisory board dean's meeting, AMS assembly, this is super fun, but I helped out with first year FC hiring with Zoe and Jake, who's our chief rec. And that was really, really fun. I had a great time. I kind of want to be with FC now, but that's okay. I also attended elections team meeting with Thomas. He's doing a great job with that, and they're doing great in terms of marketing. And it's good to start early too. We're having a design team roundtable, I believe, this weekend. But we were talking about some hiring things all together, Liam, Thomas, Alex, and Craig. And then finally, this is about advisory board's EDI and accessibility survey. Please, if you haven't, please complete the survey, because this is something that we can improve and make a lasting impact on our O week for years to come. So it would be fantastic if you guys could even go to the link in our bio and just fill it out. That would be amazing, because we want to see what we can do to improve. But yes, moving forward, kind of the general things: gender and eng meetings, election stuff, discipline club and year exec roundtables. And the Black Lives Matter patches, and they're going to be dropping soon. So keep a lookout for those. But that's about it for me.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So that wraps up our executive reports. So we'll move on then to the director reports, starting off with academics.
Hi, everyone. Nick Arnott, Director of Academics. The past couple of weeks on the academic side of things, EngLinks has been doing pretty much the normal workshops and everything. Those are going well. They will have some more stuff coming into finals, so be sure to look out for that as finals come up. Otherwise, just reviewing the performance of this semester and looking forward to next semester and next year for how things can get better. Bed Fund is looking to wrap up its idea generation, and the reps are beginning to write their proposals for what they want to spend each discipline's money on. In terms of advocacy, I had a meeting with the AMS Academic Caucus where we had some good discussions, and I'm starting to look at the effectiveness and how students like 6 versus 12-week courses. So if you are not a first year, since you've only experienced 6-week courses, but if you're an upper year who has experienced both 6 and 12-week courses and you have thoughts on them, send them my way. I'd love to hear them. Looking forward to the next couple weeks, EngLinks finals workshops, of course. EngLinks will be working more on their recordings logistics with the IT team. I have a meeting with the faculty regarding how we can better teach academic integrity policies and everything like that. Yeah, preparing for the winter term. Just on a final note, similar to what Zaid said earlier, finals are coming up. It's stressful. You have a lot of resources available for you, so I highly encourage you to take a break. Things will be okay. Use your resources. Yeah, thanks everyone. See you later.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. Moving on then to communications.
Do I say my name? I forgot it already. Arham Chowdhury, Director of Communications. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay. I don't know why. I obviously knew it. It is blank. Anyway, things I've been doing over the past 2 weeks. So I finally finished the comm team website. That felt really good. And Alex McKinnon helped me because I was stuck on something really dumb for so long. And then he was like, "This is what you do," and then it all worked. I also put the All Eng on Instagram, so that was cool. With the help of one of my team members, her name's Stephanie. And then I met with my FIPCO a couple times, and that was nice. And the project, my FIPCO project, is to build and enhance comm team's online presence. And I think it's actually a good project because there's lots of unawareness when it comes to what the comm team is and what we do, and that we're actually a resource to other organizations within EngSoc. And so enhancing their the online presence will help with that. And so we're starting with Instagram, and it'll be a good way to send in requests other than just emailing. You can DM as well. So that's nice. And then I just listed out projects going on within my team. So video teams working on this fall video. It's meant to give information about current resources and spaces available on campus with COVID restrictions. Also, video team's also doing fix and clean video. And then my photo team's doing Ys and FC headshots. And then my graphic design team's helping with the EngSoc elections. I'm also helping with that. We're making story templates for clubs, conferences, and design teams, just so that they're a highlight on the EngSoc Instagram, just so the information about them isn't only on the website, just to put it on more things so more people know about it. And then things I'll be doing over the next 2 weeks is keep working with my FIPCO on comm team. Thanks for the nods, Alex. It's weirdly helping. Okay, also resource page, really will do that. Continue marketing for elections and support my team with their ongoing projects. That's all.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on then to clubs and conferences.
Alex Kosh-Fatiel, Vice President of Student Affairs. I'll cover for Brian. So because he cannot attend, or he left a little early because he couldn't attend for this part, but he's been overseeing some things for QCTF, and they've been doing really well, so congrats to them. He had a fees corporate meeting, CERC interview reviews, typical day-to-day operations, he says. But then over the next few weeks, I think he's, in general, going to be focusing on school from what he's told me. But he's going to check in with his officers through his portfolio, and continuing with his club's manual, as well as budget check-ins. That seems to be about it. Writing motions, of course, for portfolio changes that he wants to be making, but that will come in the next semester. So, but that's about it. Oh, and he also said he'd love for you guys to really look at his meme. He's very proud of it. That's all though.
Nice. Alrighty, moving on to the Director of Design.
Alex Koch-Fitzgerald, Vice President of Student Affairs. So Liam also couldn't attend for this part, so I'll be going over his report. So throughout the last 2 weeks, he's primarily done, I guess it's Alex and Alex, but yes, Alex McKinnon and myself, Craig Thomas, we, as I said before in my report, we had a meeting about design team captain hiring and just talking about that. And he's also going to be having a roundtable this weekend. He's received all his quarterly reports, which is something that the design teams have to do. And also met with his FIPCO, and they're going to be doing the showcase for design teams since they can't go to competition this year. So Liam decided that it would be a good idea to have a showcase, and that is going to be going down with the FIPCO, which is really exciting. The next 2 weeks, I'm assuming he's going to be winding down, but getting transition things organized. He does want to ensure there's a good transition going down. And kind of just like the usual tasks. So reviewing reports that were submitted, getting things organized for new teams. And as I mentioned, the roundtable that's going to come up. And that's about it.
Nice. Thank you very much. Moving on to external relations.
Spencer Lee, President. I'm not external relations. Roche had a final term project or something to work on. So he's prioritizing his academics, but I can give his report. So he did his Q&A with the high school, which went really well. It's still November, so he's been working on that basically this entire month. Shout out to everyone that is participating in that or has donated or supported it in some way. It's a great cause. Let's see. And he's also he sent off just some clips to the communications team for the Fix and Clean. So thank you, Harum, for you and your team for working on that. For the next couple weeks, he's gonna be working on the Black Lives Matter patches and taking orders, and Alex is also working on that. He's working on this sort of crafting kids project, which is like sending out crafts to kids in elementary school so that they can have some hands-on fun. And another thing is he went to the CFES conference on diversity and equity, and he said they were very cool keynote speakers at it. So yeah, that's basically it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on to finance.
Hi, everyone. Just a sec, let me get the, not much to, Salma Ibrahim, Director of Finance, not much to update council on, just usual tasks, day-to-day stuff, month ends, transactions, emails. I had lots of meetings with different groups over the past 3 weeks. I'm constantly reviewing new group budgets and making sure people are up on the bank of EngSoc and doing well. I had some meetings with my FOs. It's continuing to do the review engagement with Ben, as he said in his report. And I'm doing my September and October month ends for EngSoc with my FOs as well. And for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be meeting with my FOs, just doing regular stuff, hopefully working on more long-term stuff with Ben, including the review engagement and some policy that I want to introduce next semester. But that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on then to first year.
Alex Koch-Fitzgerald, Vice President of Student Affairs. So Rain, he couldn't make it either for this time, but he did give me his report. He just submitted it late. It was kind of funny to read, so I wish you guys could see it, but that's okay. I'll just read it. So what he's been doing in the past 2 weeks, he's been helping with first year exec with their housing event, and I wasn't able to go because I had another commitment, but I heard it went really well. So good job to them. They did really well on that. He's also been doing, oh no, he completed a FREC event and it was a holiday movie FREC event. Apparently it was a good hit. So yay, Rain. He met with his FIPCO and starting on a project with them. He's been in talks with CEO as well about jacket pickup and logistics around that. So it's still being planned, but that's something to look forward to, especially if you're in first year. In terms of like the discipline fair for first years as well, he's been doing some planning with his team on that. He also included an update of reminding first year exec to say Sci-24 before they say their year report. So don't forget it today. Don't forget it. And then over the next 2 weeks, there's gonna be just more planning in general. So jacket council, discipline fair, FREC events, things like that. He also has a meeting this weekend with he said Dofi cubed because there's gonna be 3 of like the past 3 Dofis are gonna be talking in a meeting because they wanna do like in a little event together. I think it would be cool that is happening on the weekend. And then just kind of working on like personal stuff like exams. And then he also said what he'll be doing over the next 2 weeks is reminding first year exec to say Sci-24 again. And that's about it for Rain.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on then to governance.
Thomas Wright, Director of Governance. I'll give Vice President Kosh Fratialos the opportunity to read my report if she'd like. No.
I'm good.
Past 2 weeks in governance land have been very elections heavy. Elections team starting to get the ball rolling on our marketing initiatives for the fall, and they are doing a bang up job of it. I'll add, if anyone in this Zoom meeting is interested in running for Prez, VPSA, and VP Ops or Junior Senator, elections team is a great resource if you have any questions, as are the current people in those positions. So hit any of those people up. And if you're not interested, why not? You know? On top of that, we had a bit of an issue with WordPress over the past couple of weeks, but that got resolved. So myself and the policy officers were able to get policy and bylaw updated on the website. For the rest of the semester, we will be closing up our marketing initiatives for the fall with elections team. So get ready for those and get ready for elections in January. I will also be setting the council schedule for the winter term and beginning my transition manual. So if anyone in the Zoom meeting is interested in being the Director of Governance next year, you can chat with me about it. It's a cool and fun time. Before I yield the rest of my time, I would just like to thank all of you lovely people for being so good at your jobs so far this year. Council has been really easy to work with. There's still that element of fun too that I like so much about council, which is nice. Yeah, everybody, especially the people who have been or who are on council for their first time, you're all doing an excellent job, and I very much am looking forward to the second half of the year working with all of you. And there's my meme.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Moving on then to human resources.
Hello. That was a voice crack. Craig Maslin, Director of Human Resources. So in the last few weeks, what have I been up to? I've been closing the fall training conference. That went really well, and we're shutting it down. Mostly everyone has completed it, and everyone who didn't complete it, I emailed, and they had an excuse, which was good, I guess. We're launching the feedback survey over the break, which will span into week 1, and then hopefully do some good work with that feedback for next semester's conference. Starting my FIPCO on their project. I did the policy that we saw today. Other than that, it's been pretty relaxed, just doing my regular statics and upkeeping Dash. My portfolio is slowly winding down for the examination period, and all of my officers, as well as my FIPCO, we've all agreed that that they'd like to prioritize their academics in the next few weeks. So doing one last round of statics this weekend, and then getting ready for exams and hopefully enjoying some winter snow.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Moving on to IT.
Hello, Alexander McKinnon, Director of Information Technology. Not a lot going on this week and the previous week, thankfully. Just means that all the front-loaded work we did has paid off and things are not breaking, which is nice. I got to meet my FIPCO as well, and my FIPCO will be working on our website hosting platform to focus on security, which aligns with what they wanted to do, as well as the overall goal of the portfolio this year. SDev is working along with their projects, and the operations team is moving on to new infrastructure things that are really exciting. So the next few weeks and the winter will be used to, well, I guess the next few weeks will be academics, but the winter will be used to review a lot of our performance stuff, do the password audit finally, and cut our infrastructure costs by, we're gonna estimate $150 or so per month. So it'll be exciting. But yeah, other than that, have fun studying, everyone, and good luck with exams.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on then to internal processes.
Allison Long, Director of Internal Processes. Sorry for not submitting a report. But okay, so things I've been doing over the past 2 weeks, I've been collecting the tea room letters. I'm still collecting those, been kind of slow. And I'm still continuing to organize the Dean's reception. So I actually had a meeting with Kendi, who is the events coordinator, as well as Kate, who's the manager of the Office of the Dean. And we were just going over details for this event, which will be happening in second semester. There's not that much going on there. We still have a lot of time until the event. And other than that, I've met up with my FIPCO a few times and we're working on planning the reception together. So over the next 2 weeks, I'm still continuing to meet with my FIPCO and just plan out the reception.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on then to professional development.
Spencer Lee, President. Varnica is actually at her Quip info session right now, so that's why she couldn't make it, but I can give her a report. I will speed run it. So she's hired her entire team, so that's great. She's working on transitioning the last of her members. She's met her FIPCOs. Their project is going to be working on revamping the PD website. For workshops, they ran their first one of the semester online. It went pretty well. Last night they had their alumni networking summit. The full summit is happening in the second semester and it's also online. Tonight they had their Quip kind of Q&A info session, which I hear is also going super well, which is why she's not here. It ran a bit late. Things that have been ongoing are resume slash cover letter reviews. So if you have a resume or cover letter that you want to be edited or looked at, PD offers that service, so feel free to send it in. Let's see, and that's basically it, wrapping up to the end of the semester. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on then to services.
Sorry, did not realize I was muted there. Andrew Kronerman, Director of Services. So things I've been doing over the last couple weeks. Sad times. I've been assisting the tea room as they are closing shop, which is really sad, but I was really proud of the work that they put in to actually get that going. So only positive vibes here. Working with CEO. So the jackets unfortunately won't be delivered until after exams end, probably next semester, which is unfortunate, but I mean, everything that's going on with COVID, we weren't too surprised by that. So it will be a bit delayed, but jackets will be delivered properly and everyone will get there. So that's good. And then I will be doing some Science Quest assistant manager hiring as well. And then other than that, it's been weekly status with head managers and with Ben. Honestly, as COVID kind of reduces the services down to 2, the weekly updates get kind of less, which is super sad, but that's life at the moment. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on then, last but not least, social issues.
Julia Newcomb, Director of Social Issues. So just my regular meetings, the Inclusivity and Accessibility Survey for Orientation Week is finally out, as I think Alex mentioned earlier. I had a meeting with Jay, who is our general manager. The equity team was interested in looking at making Clark Hall more accessible. So we had a meeting to kind of discuss what the options were and what could possibly be done. And it has been looked at a fair amount in the past. And unfortunately, there are not any viable options as of right now, but equity team will continue to look into it over the next couple of weeks, I think. I attended the gender panel event with Alex and the rest of the directors who helped organize that, which was super exciting. Anyone is welcome to come. They are super interesting, and it's fun to hear about kind of different faculty that you don't usually get to know. In terms of December 6th Memorial, it is getting pretty big. The event will be held on December 3rd this year at 2 p.m. Just because that's when senior management is available, and it kind of coincides with some other events for that day. The new chair for women in engineering will speak, and there's some new artwork in the ILC that will be unveiled. So if you're able to come to that, I would highly recommend. It's a super great, or it's not, it's a good opportunity to come and remember what happened and also hear some cool people speak. And then my team is looking at organizing a speaker panel about racism in engineering. So that would be like how the products that engineers design disproportionately affect minorities. And that's going to be held in January. So we're starting to work on that. So just from here on out, continuing to work on everything as above. I'm actually attending the EDI Advantage conference this week, which has been pretty exciting as well. The equity team will be starting to look at creating a report for Orientation Week, which is going to be very positive and a list of all sorts of recommendations and improvements that are possible. So that's super exciting. This is a typo here, of course. Sorry, the 22nd is a typo. As of this Sunday, I'm kind of going to take a break from EngSoc other than December 6th Memorial for exam season. If you send me carrier pigeons, I will definitely answer them very quickly. So that is probably the best way to reach me. And then as the holiday season approaches, if you are buying gifts, I would encourage you to buy local and buy sustainable gifts if you are able to. And that's everything I have for you today.
Awesome. Thank you very much to the executive director team. As usual, I think you're all doing a fantastic job. We are now moving on to the question period for the ED team reports. I assume we've gone through the reports for a while now, so there's nothing in the queue right now, so there's probably not going to be, so we'll just move on to faculty board report.
Spencer Lee, President, I can give this. If I miss anything, for all the faculty board reps, feel free to jump in and correct me. First thing from the dean, there's going to be, if you have any in-person classes in the second semester, there will be a mandatory 14-day isolation/quarantine after coming back. So after classes start, the messaging for that is still being made before it's being sent out. With regards to the percentage of courses that have been dropped overall, we actually saw more courses being dropped with an online format, with a much higher percentage in second and third year. So if you know any second years or any third years, please reach out and make sure they're doing all right. Going into your discipline without having those in-person classes, I can't imagine how hard that might be for some people. So please please reach out if you have anybody on your teams or if you have anybody on your exec that are on in second or third year, or honestly in any year. There were more QUIP placements this year. a 53% increase. Let's see, and I think that basically covers that. Feel free to reach out to me or any of the faculty board reps if you have any more inquiries or want any more clarifications.
Nice. Awesome. Cool. Moving on then to the AMS report. Did assembly even happen?
Yes, I think since the last report it did happen. Sorry, Matthew Green, Side 21 AMS rep. I think the main thing that was discussed was the new Q sets, the Queen Survey Student Experience of Teaching Survey, which is basically replacing, I forgot what the old one was called. It's the updated like teacher feedback survey, which you've probably all received at some point. Nick Arnott said it replaces the USATs, which you're all familiar with, just as a student survey to give teachers feedback. That was the main discussion point of the last meeting.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on then to the Senate report.
Peter Matthews, Senior Senator. There has not been a Senate meeting since the last council meeting, so nothing to report.
Awesome. Moving on then to the Engineering Review Board report.
Ann Broughton, Engineering Review Board Chair. There's really nothing new to report since my last report, so.
Okay, sounds good. Advisory Board report.
Andrew Vassila, Chair of the Advisory Board. Apologies for the background noise. I'm also in a meeting with my thesis advisor right now. To give a quick update on the board, as has been spoken on before, we released our EDI and Accessibility and Orientation Week survey. I've been getting some great results, but please share that on your Instagram stories. We want to get as many responses as possible to create that lasting change. Aside from that, I've had meetings with our subcommittees, as well as Spencer said, our O-Week debrief message. Really looking to kick off some exciting projects for the second half of the year. Has been a great year, and huge shout out to the rest of my team.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on then to the club reports, starting off with geological, after which we will say dirt.
Rachel Burns, GeoEng Club President. I don't really have anything to report since the last time. We've just done a few socials over Zoom. That's about it.
Yep, that sounds good. Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on then to ChemEng, after which we will say fumes.
Hi, Serena Gizma, ChemEng President. Just a few updates. We've just gathered some more bed fund ideas together as the exec, and we had some pretty good ones. We started the process for the pre-order of our hoodies that we're doing this year. And we had some intro posts in our new Insta page. Shout out at QU ChemEng. And yeah, we just have some ideas on that, and the open house went well for the people that came to the Chem one. And that's
Awesome.
it.
Thank you very much. Then we'll move on to Apple Math, after which we'll say nerds.
Hi, Aiden Shimizu, second year Apple Math rep, filling in for David. So for academics, we've just been continuing to advocate on behalf of the students to the department, planning out to fill out a survey, send out a survey soon to all Apple Math students to collect feedback on online delivery, which we hope that the professors can use in second semester to help with their delivery of the courses. In terms of events, Sana, our events rep, ran a Scribble.io event for all Apple Math students, and I ran a Zoom social event for all second years with a Kahoot and breakout rooms so that everyone gets to know each other a bit better.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Sounds good. Moving on then to civil, after which we'll say beams. Civil.
Beams.
Beams.
Lily Gilbo, civil rep. We also don't have all that much to report. We've been working on some different socials, like we have a bowling event coming up soon, which should be fun. And we've also been working on some new civil merch, which we plan to get done by the end of the semester, so we can do some of that pre-ordering. And that's about it.
Awesome. Sounds good. Looking forward to that civil merch. All right. So next, we're going to move on to year reports, starting off with Sci to Wonderwall.
Sci
to one.
Old.
Old.
Hi, everyone. Kate Lapham, president of Sci21. So this past Monday, we had our first Netflix party event where we watched the Holy Grail movie. I'm blanking. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And it worked really well. So now that we know how to set it up, we can host a few more just as we want to do some pretty low commitment events as it's week 11 and 12 and then exam season. We are looking at getting our merch rolling out. It's been kind of a stressful time for our merch rep because she's doing grad school applications and all that. So we're going to focus really on just having a plan so it's not all backlogged in the second semester, especially if we want grad hoodies or anything of the sort. I had fun talking at the first year housing event with VP Vasila. It went really well, so congrats to the first year exec that ran that. And we're looking at getting the yearbook rolling, just so again it also isn't, backlogged into second semester like last year's was. I ran a poll on our Instagram page, and it looks like physical copies are really preferred. So we're trying to look into options that will not be a headache in terms of shipping and everything. So I'll be talking more to my team about that. And yeah, that's everything for me.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on then to Sci. Chugga, 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 choot, choo. Rosh.
Julia Takamoto. Sci22 Prez. So our recent event, our virtual coffee house, unfortunately, we did not get enough video submissions for. So we ended up having to cancel it. Everyone who submitted a video is going to get a free small cup. And we're working on getting those out right now. So delivery / leaving it in people's mailboxes if they're in Kingston. And then we've featured their videos on our Insta at QueensEng22, drop us a follow. And there's also some fun videos of our exec doing different talents on there. So check that out, it's very amusing. We have ordered our face masks through CEO. They're black and white with a small little crest on them. And it's going to take 4-ish weeks to get them. So we're not going to be selling until the new year. But they will be coming. And we're also doing a little bit of advertising for Sci-Formal hiring for the convener and chair positions. That's about everything.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Moving on then to Sci. Nobody likes you when you're 23.
I 2, 3.
Rosh.
Hi, I'm Noah Wyman, Side 2-3 Vice President. So we don't have a ton to report right now. Our big thing is that our back ordered year merch that everyone ordered last year finally arrived, and we had a pickup day. So for the most part, people now have that. Also, my cat has come to say hello. And we will have another pickup day next term and make sure anyone who wasn't able to get their year merch last weekend will get it eventually. Otherwise, we do not have a ton to report right now.
Show us the cat. That's a good cat.
Awesome. Cool. So now we'll move on to Sci-24.
Okay, so Alif Heat, Sci-24 president. So what we've been doing since the last council, we finished planning our housing event, and we actually had it. And then next meeting, we had a review of the housing event and what we didn't do right. On behalf of like Sci24, we would like to thank any uppers that came to help. Thank you. And we surveyed what the first year body is willing to buy. We contacted CEO for prices on stickers and sweatshirts. And we are now surveying what each person in the year exec is doing for the next semester, and putting down goals and objectives. And for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be having possibly a TikTok competition. And we made a Sci24 TikTok account, still working on that one. We're going to possibly get out stickers before the start of the winter break. Maybe hoodies, still debatable, depending on how things go. And like we're going to finalize the timeline for the next semester, so we can stay on track and actually have a plan next semester. As like this was a little bit whatever happens, and we've done well, I guess, and not much else due to like exam season. So that's it.
Thank you very much. Alrighty, so that wraps up the club reports. So, and the year reports. We can move on then to statements and questions by members. Right now, I'm seeing none. So with that, I will just make a quick statement, not to plug elections or anything. I know it's already been said a couple times, but elections are coming up for president, vice president, and the vice president roles and the senator position. I can speak for the executive roles. They're truly life-changing positions. They really are. And there's a lot to learn from them. So please, if you are interested, please reach out to the elections committee, or better yet, reach out to the current people in those roles, because they can tell you all about them. Because I think it'll be fantastic to see some of you run. Next up, we have Alex Galvin. You have a statement or a question.
Hey, Alex Galvin, first year rep. This is actually for basically everyone in this in my year. I think we're not on the email list that always gets sent out before the meetings with the URL and the agenda and all that. I don't know who does that, but if we could be added to that, that'd be much appreciated, so that we can actually just read over everything before the meeting comes.
Point of information, Thomas Wright, Director of Governance. I'll make sure you're added to that for the next coming meetings. My apologies.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. With that being said, I will now entertain a motion to close council.
Motion to close council.
Second.
All right.
Seconded.
Awesome. Council is now closed.
Did we vote on it?
No, we have to vote on that.
I guess we can vote on it. Sure. Let's vote on it. Do the motion to close council. Can we have a little poll?
Motion passes.
Motion passes. Alrighty. Everyone have a good night. To all of my American friends, happy Thanksgiving. See you guys later.
Have a nice day.